européenne, plus près de nous, le Sri Lanka. Après des années de crimes par le régime en place, le Sri Lanka s'est écroulé. Et c'est bon de réfléchir un petit peu, surtout à ceux qui pensent être plus socialistes que nous, tous ensemble. Celui qui a été élu massivement aux dernières élections président de la République du Sri Lanka était un marxiste, un vrai marxiste pur et dur, qui s'était engagé pendant la campagne à revoir l'accord en force avec le FMI, à gouverner à gauche, sinon à l'extrême gauche. Qu'est-ce qu'il a été obligé de faire? De regarder la réalité en face. Et il a eu à accepter que pour quelques années, il aura à vivre avec le FMI, que ça prendra du temps pour redresser le Sri Lanka. S'ils avaient repris le pouvoir, encore 1 an, 2 ans, 3 ans après le crash, et les syndicats, les travailleurs, la population doit se rappeler que comme au Sri Lanka ou ailleurs, quand il y a ce genre de crash-là, les pensions aussi sont balayées. Tout est à refaire quand on atterrit dans ce genre de situation-là. Il ne faut pas oublier ça. Nous avons une tâche difficile, mais que nous allons remplir avec courage. Mais il est bon de rappeler, d'imaginer ce qui se serait passé s'ils avaient repris le pouvoir. The real issue. Je lis la presse, je lis les intellectuels ou pseudo-intellectuels, mais même les vrais intellectuels. The real issue is not the IMF. Comme s'il faut décider, est-ce qu'on est avec le FMI ou non? The real issue is not the IMF. Le vrai danger, c'est le downgrading de notre économie. Ce que les gens ne réalisent pas, si on est downgraded à junk status, tout sera affecté, pas seulement notre zone offshore, qui n'est plus offshore d'ailleurs, mais notre secteur financier, pas seulement. Si nous sommes downgraded, ce sera un drame pour le pays. Et tout le monde sera affecté. Tout le monde, à commencer par les plus vulnérables, par les travailleurs. Il faut se le rappeler. Si nous sommes downgraded, ce sera une période terrible pour le pays. Et c'est ça which is staring us in the face au moment où je vous parle. Le FMI suit mieux que nos grands journalistes, certains. Le FMI suit mieux qu'est-ce que ces 2 comités qu'on a mis sur pied sont en train de fabriquer. Avec une loupe et une longue vue en même temps. Nous sommes sur la corde raide, il faut bien le comprendre. Et je le répète, je ne raconte jamais d'histoire. Je ne vais pas commencer maintenant. Je ne connais que la vérité. Et la vérité, c'est celle-là. The issue is not the IMF. Personne parmi nous n'est amoureux du FMI, ni de la Banque mondiale, et encore moins de Moody's. The issue is not the IMF. The danger is in a downgrading. Par Moody's et en chiffres, le reste suivra. Ce que nous sommes en train de faire, c'est donner une direction au pays. Si on ne convainc pas Moody's, enfin Moody's va nous clouquer, qu'est-ce que le FMI dit, qu'est-ce que la Banque mondiale dit. Mais ce que nous nous efforçons de faire, le Premier ministre, moi-même le gouvernement, c'est de convaincre tout le monde, FMI, Banque mondiale, Moody's, qu'on a pris un sens, qu'on a un sens de direction, qu'on commence quelque chose. Il faut convaincre qu'on minute, qu'on commence quelque chose, mais que ça va continuer au fil d'un an, 2 ans, 3 ans, 4 ans, 5 ans, jusqu'à la fin de notre mandat. C'est ça le défi que nous avons à relever. Et je le répète, tout est en jeu. On ne pourra pas tout faire maintenant, tout de suite, en 1 an. Non. Mais ce qu'il faut faire, c'est donner un sens de direction au pays. C'est convaincre tous nos partenaires que nous donnons un sens de direction et que nous allons keep at it pendant 1 an, 2 ans, 3 ans, 4 ans. Madame la Speaker. Relever l'âge de la retraite, de non-contributory pension, à 65 ans est inévitable. Je demande à tout le monde, à commencer par les syndicats, aux travailleurs, de bien réaliser que relever, à moins qu'on veuille aller vers la catastrophe, sinon, relever l'âge de la pension à 65 ans est inévitable. Et encore, nous prenons un risque. Le FMI, la Banque mondiale, tout ça s'attendait à ce qu'on relève ça tout de suite là, à 65 ans. Et c'est ce que la logique économique exige. Mais nous allons le faire sur une durée de 5 ans. C'est un risque calculé, mais c'est un risque. Nous allons le faire en 5 ans. Nous sommes condamnés à le faire. C'est inévitable. Sinon, comme je le disais, si le FMI, la Banque mondiale, Moody's n'est pas convaincu que nous allons dans cette direction-là, c'est la première chose qu'ils regardent avec des yeux carrés. Première chose, qu'est-ce qui va arriver à notre unsustainable système de pension non contributive? Ensuite, il y a le déficit budgétaire et la dette du pays. Ce sont les 3 critères, les 3 choses que tous les gens, le FMI, la Banque mondiale, nous disent, tout le monde, c'est ce qu'ils vont regarder avant tout. Qu'est-ce qui arrive à notre pension, notre système de pension? Qu'est-ce qui arrive à notre déficit budgétaire? Qu'est-ce qui arrive à notre endettement? Tous les yeux seront braqués là-dessus. Et il faut voir les choses en face, franchement. L'âge de la pension à 65 ans, mais à travers le monde, c'est comme ça. Je ne prends que quelques exemples. Seychelles, 65 ans. Grande-Bretagne, 66 ans. France, 64 ans, et en pleine discussion pour être amendé. L'Inde, entre 60 et 65 ans, selon les secteurs. L'Australie, 67 ans. Le Canada, 65 ans. Singapour, entre 62 et 65 ans. Il faut ouvrir les yeux, regarder le monde réel. Et tous les experts sont unanimes qu'il faut, en priorité, réformer notre unsustainable système de pension. Tous les actuaires. Je cherche encore un économiste qui dit le contraire. En tout cas, tous les actuaires, tous les vrais experts en pension. Alors, il faut vivre dans le monde réel. Il faut bien réaliser où nous sommes et où il nous faut aller, Madame Speaker. Alors, face à tout cela, il n'y a que des palabres, franchement. Surtout ces derniers temps, qu'est-ce que l'opposition et des journalistes aussi, qu'est-ce qu'on n'a pas raconté sur les salaires des junior ministers? des insanités. Et on a beau prouver que ce n'est pas le cas. Les salaires des unions ministérielles sont exactement les mêmes salaires que les PPS. Et les allowances aussi. On ne va pas faire comme le MSM, toutes sortes de trucs pour donner tant de salaires, et puis toutes sortes d'allowances, toutes sortes de présences sur des boards, etc. C'est des experts en coquet. On n'est pas comme ça, nous. Mais malgré ça, il y a quelque chose qui fait un tort terrible. De mon point de vue, il y a deux choses. Les Facebook anonymes. Et les gens prennent en compte, si quelqu'un, au moins, il va sur Facebook, il a son post, etc., mais au moins, il a le courage de signer. Tout ça est anonyme. Et tout ça est financé en grande partie par le MSM. Mais pas seulement par le MSM. Il y a des tas de... I think they get a kick out of it. Un post anonyme. Et la presse sérieuse, de quoi elle parle? Une vague de protestation. Pas un nom. Il y a un tas de posts anonymes, mais il y a une vague de protestation. Et il y a une autre chose, je dis ça, moi j'ai fait l'école de journaliste de Paris. Pour moi, la profession de vrai journaliste est une des grandes professions. C'est pourquoi je parle avec respect quand je parle des journalistes et même des erreurs. Mais il y a, à part les Facebook, les posts Facebook boss et autres, anonymes, il y a les caricatures, les cartoons. Certains cartoonistes se croient obligés de distiller du cynisme. Ça fait un tort terrible, ça donne l'impression que tous sont pareils, tous les hommes et femmes politiques, c'était pourri, c'était aux opportunistes. Ça fait un tort considérable. Et je suis ça, caricature, cartoon après cartoon. Et je demande à tous ces Mauriciennes et ces Mauriciens-là, les journalistes, les cartoonistes, les syndicalistes, ne faites pas de tort à notre pays. Il a déjà assez souffert. Ne faites pas de tort à notre pays. Je leur supplie, à un moment comme celui que nous traversons. Mais allons laisser ça derrière nous. Fini avec l'union ministérielle, la pension des parlementaires. Et toutes sortes d'insassinés. Moi, je connais des gens honnêtes qui avaient une carrière, qui ont abandonné leur carrière pour se relancer en politique. Et qui ne sont pas élus, qui ont fait ce sacrifice-là. Alors, attends, si on me dit qu'est-ce qu'il faut changer dans les pensions parlementaires, je vais écouter moi. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut améliorer, qu'est-ce qu'il faut... Mais je ne trouve rien, moi, je dis franchement. Qu'on me dise, faites ceci, amendez cela. Mais ne venez pas comme si c'était une bande de jouisseurs, tout le monde. On devient député pour avoir une pension. C'est l'impression que certains donnent. S'il y a quelque chose à améliorer, nous tous, on est là, on va le faire. Et plus récemment, là, sur les advisors. On n'est pas le MSM. Avec raison, le Premier ministre a fait un statement montrant de quoi le MSM était capable. Nous, on a mis de l'ordre et de la transparence, parce qu'avant, sur le MSM, il y avait soi-disant les salaires, mais après les salaires, il y avait des allowances à n'en plus finir. Il y avait présence sur des boards à n'en plus finir. Nous, on a bien catégorisé les choses. Et les gens ne savent pas, les gens... Je me souviens, il y avait des questions, il y a tant d'advisors dans le gouvernement. Mais je ne me rends même pas compte que par défaut, par faiblesse de notre système bureaucratique, quelqu'un, un médecin spécialiste, on ne sait pas comment le rémunérer, special advisor. Et alors finalement, dans l'esprit des gens, il y a 50, 60, 70 advisors. Nous, on a voulu mettre de l'ordre dedans. Il y a les advisors techniques, et puis il y a différents grades d'advisors. Et ce n'est pas au ministre de venir décider. Le Premier ministre a parfaitement raison. Il fallait mettre de l'ordre, il fallait mettre de la transparence. Mais ça n'a pas empêché des dérapages. Heureusement que bien des gens, bien des journalistes se sont rattrapés. On payait hommage à la vérité quand il le faut. Alors, allons laisser tout ça derrière. La situation est trop grave pour qu'on perde beaucoup de temps sur ce genre de fake news, de palabres. Allons revenir aux choses sérieuses. Je disais tout à l'heure que passer à 65 ans, sur 5 ans, pas tout de suite, même ça, emporter, les gens oublient, en 5 ans. Je disais que c'est inévitable. Mais on est en train d'essayer de voir les plus vulnérables, les emplois les plus durs, les mères qui n'ont pas de revenus du ménage, s'il vous plaît, ou les gens qui, par leur santé, ne peuvent pas travailler au-delà de 60 ans. On est en train de voir. Il y a 2 comités qui ont été créés, mais on est jeudi, demain c'est vendredi, on n'aura pas fini. Ces comités vont travailler, parce qu'après ces 2 comités auront travaillé ensemble, et ensuite il faudra que ça revienne devant le cabinet, le Conseil des ministres. Donc, on sera entré dans la semaine prochaine. C'est au Premier ministre de décider qu'est-ce qu'on va faire. Aujourd'hui, on est jeudi, demain, Conseil des ministres. Dans l'après-midi, le Parlement va siéger. Et dans l'après-midi, c'est la fête nationale d'un des 5 pays d'où notre peuple est sorti, Madagascar. On ne va pas leur faire affront de ne pas aller saluer leur fête nationale. Donc ce sera au Premier ministre de voir si on reviendra ici, si on va siéger samedi, ou bien il y a d'autres possibilités. Dans notre arsenal parlementaire, il y a d'autres possibilités. Mais on essaye de faire un travail sérieux sur les catégories les plus vulnérables. Mais je le dis tout de suite, notre marge de manœuvre est extrêmement étroite, très étroite. Il faut que les syndicats, tout le monde garde ça en tête. Avec courage, on a présenté une réforme de notre système de pension sur 5 ans. On essaye de voir la possibilité, à quel coût, de venir en aide aux plus vulnérables. Mais il ne faut pas perdre sur les 2 plans cette fois-ci. On a pris les décisions difficiles concernant la pension. Si maintenant, on va au-delà de ce que notre marge de manœuvre, mais on va perdre là-bas aussi. On sera downgraded. C'est ce qu'il faut éviter là où on est là. Il faut faire le maximum pour les plus vulnérables. Mais là, le maximum ne doit pas nous mener à un downgrading de notre économie. Ce serait perdre des 2 côtés, comme on dit en bon créole de chez nous. J'aimerais aussi rappeler ce que le Premier ministre avait fait, mais je vais rappeler à nous 2 choses. Là, on s'attaque est un vilain mot, mais on prend à bras-le-corps le problème de notre pension non contributive et unsustainable. Mais comme mon ami le ministre de la Sécurité sociale l'a bien dit, il ne faut pas, les syndicats ne doivent pas oublier les vrais criminels qui ont tué le NPF. On l'a oublié. Maintenant, tout le monde manifeste contre ceci, contre ceci. Mais qui a tué le NPF? Qui a créé ce monstre du CSG? Mais pas seulement Pravin Jagat, c'est un syndicaliste, quelques syndicalistes. Un en particulier. ceux qui ont tué le MPF, qui ont créé ce monstre, il n'y a plus un sou, tout a été dilapidé. Ose manifester, et voilà. Difficile de ne pas dire en gros mots, là. Bien difficile. Mais c'est à cause de vous, je me retiens.
J'apprécie.
Mais on va nommer, on y travaille, qui présidera cette commission, quels seront ses membres. On a annoncé, et on confirme, une commission d'experts pour voir comment mettre de l'ordre dans tout. Mais de vrais experts, actuaires avant tout, mais économistes, sociologues, une commission d'experts pour voir au-delà de ce que nous sommes en train de faire, il faut reconstruire tout un système de pension. Le MSM a tué la GWF, c'est un de leurs plus grands crimes. Il n'y a plus de CSG, tout a été dit là. Maintenant, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Comment reconstruire c'est ce qu'on a... Ce soir, je passe sur Radio Plus, sur la drogue. Là aussi, pareil. Ils ont tué le NPF, ils ont tué. Du côté de la drogue, Natressa. C'est un véritable crime. Mais là, nous, et je salue à nouveau le travail, comme mon collègue le ministre de la Justice, Attorney General, avec ces experts de chez lui. On a fait un travail formidable. Mais partout, c'est comme ça. Voilà le MSM. Ils ont tout ruiné. Ils ont tout pollué. Et nous, on est obligés de recommencer partout. Là, on a ce courage-là. Mais je demande aux syndicalistes, aux journalistes, aux caricaturistes, aux jeunes surtout, de bien réaliser qu'on fait tout ça au nom de la jeunesse. On ne fait pas ça pour nous. On fait ça au nom de la jeunesse, des enfants d'aujourd'hui et des enfants de demain aussi. Il y a un travail, mais là, donner la chance à cette commission d'experts de faire le travail. Ça prendra le temps que ça prendra, 6 mois, 1 an. Là, notre job, c'est de bien choisir qui va présider, quels experts, et ça ne manque pas à Maurice. Parfois, le courage manque, mais l'expertise ne manque pas à Maurice. Donc, on a ce travail-là devant nous. Et ensuite, il y a une chose, parce que ça avait été annoncé par le Premier ministre, la création de cette commission d'experts. Mais il avait aussi annoncé, il avait dit, on met la pression sur les riches, là. Une pression fiscale intense sur les riches. Et les riches, ce n'est pas seulement des Mauriciens, c'est des étrangers qui ont plusieurs pays à choisir où ils vont aller avec leur investissement, avec leur argent. Si on appuie trop fort, ils iront ailleurs. La concurrence est rude. Moi, je suis un socialiste. Pas par fanatisme, mais parce que je crois que c'est le chemin de l'avenir, comme hier. Aujourd'hui, demain, ce sera le chemin de l'avenir. Le chemin du socialisme, de la solidarité. Mais il ne faut pas tuer, comme il dit ça, la poule aux œufs d'or. Et c'est pas cette fois-ci, c'est pas la poule aux œufs d'or, c'est la poule aux œufs en plomb. Nous sommes plombés où nous sommes là. Donc on a mis une pression intense là. Mais le Premier ministre a dit c'est provisoire. Ceux qui ne sont pas d'accord avec nous ont le droit de ne pas être d'accord. Mais nous, on croit, dans la conjoncture actuelle, on croit qu'il n'y a pas de voie, sauf une voie de développement avec une fiscalité légère. Donc, aussitôt que possible, dans 1 an, ce ne sera pas possible, mais dans 1 an, 2 ans, 3 ans, on reviendra. Et il faut que les étrangers nous comprennent bien. On est des gens de parole, on ne couillonne personne, pas même les étrangers. On le dit et on le fera. We mean it, de retourner à une fiscalité légère aussitôt que possible. Ces mots-là, nous les adressons surtout aux étrangers, aux investisseurs étrangers, à ceux qui sont venus, et qui peuvent hésiter devant les choix qu'on a fait dans ce budget-là, mais c'est temporaire. La pression, nous voulons cette pression-là temporaire. Voilà ce que j'avais à dire. Madame Speaker, comme vous le savez, je ne parle jamais très longuement. Ce que nous sommes là, et je lis rarement ce que je dis, mais à la fin, ok, je vais lire ce que j'ai écrit. Je crois pouvoir lire. Ce que nous sommes obligés de faire aujourd'hui, à cause de 10 ans de crimes MSM contre notre pays, nous ne le faisons pas devoir. Nous le faisons pour les enfants de notre pays et pour les enfants à venir. Nous ne faiblirons pas, Madame Speaker, nous pays et ce bonnes enfants avant tout. Merci, Madame Speaker.
Merci. Merci, Monsieur le Premier ministre.
Oui, Madam Speaker, let me at the very outset thank all the members of this House who have participated in the debate of the budget. I've taken note of the views. I might have to repeat a few things, but I will try to respond to them. I will want to explain the rationale behind the budget. I think the Deputy Prime Minister has actually put it in a nutshell, exactly, focused on this. But laissez-moi aussi remercier la population qui, dans sa grande majorité, ne regardez pas ceux qui écrivent sur Facebook, hein, il y a une machine au centre-est. Des gens qui sont payés, une équipe qui ont et certaines personnes croient, comme si c'est la majorité des gens. Non, la majorité de la population, je leur remercie, comprend dans quelles difficultés nous nous trouvons aujourd'hui à cause de l'irresponsabilité du précédent régime. Les mesures budgétaires que nous avons prises sont nécessaires pour empêcher à ce que notre pays sombre dans le précipice, in the abyss. But the first question that we should be asking ourselves, why the hell are we in that position? People should be asking that question. Why are we having to take difficult decisions, bold decisions? Instead, we could have done like the MSM, print money, spend, give left, right, and center, and everybody would have been happy, as the Deputy Prime Minister just said. But we're socialist parties. We believe in the truth. And we believe in being responsible. Laisse-moi aussi dire, Madame la Présidente, que je déplore le fait que certains aient pu mettre en doute le professionnalisme et l'intégrité des fonctionnaires. Ceux du ministère des Finances surtout, qui ont préparé the State of the Economy, le document. Un document basé sur des données crédibles et non des chiffres cuisinés comme l'ancien gouvernement faisait. These are, what can I say, invidious innuendos, des petits innuendos, comme le DPM m'a bien dit tout à l'heure. Une fausse news et puis des choses. Tout à l'heure, le ministre Shakil Mohamed a dit, comme si je suis allé acheter une voiture. Une personne a dit 57 millions en passant. Donc c'est plus qu'un Rolls Royce. Et tout ça, c'est faux. Au contraire, j'ai refusé. Il fallait changer là. J'ai refusé. La voiture officielle que je voyais, je le dis PNC, je le dis aujourd'hui, c'était même tombé en panne. J'ai dû changer de voiture en chemin. Mais je refusais de changer de voiture. Et je dois dire que les fonctionnaires n'ont travaillé sur aucune pression. Il y en a qui sont là. Aucune pression. Ou contrainte politique. Non, ce n'est pas notre méthode. Et je suis fier Je suis fier du travail qu'ils ont accompli. Je suis fier. Madam Speaker, on the 5th of June, I introduced a bold, what I call a strategic budget that puts the country first, above party lines and not political maneuvering, demagogy and populism like the MSM has done. Madame la Présidente, je ne veux pas répéter tout ce que j'ai dit. J'ai fait des statements ici. Je ne veux pas répéter tout ça. Mais prenons juste deux chiffres. Deux chiffres. Celui du déficit budgétaire. 9,8% du PIB. C'est-à-dire 70 milliards de roupies. Et cette dette publique, 90% du PIB, c'est-à-dire 642 milliards de roupies. Nous savons tous maintenant que l'ex-ministre des Finances, M. Sabat Dedeu, c'est pas Dedeu, Sabat Monipicoli, il avait annoncé un déficit budgétaire, mais de 3,4% du PIB. Cela fait 26,8 milliards de roupies. C'est-à-dire presque 3 fois moins que le vrai chiffre. Une différence, tenez-vous bien, de 43,2 milliards de roupies. Madam Speaker, many people have no idea how precarious the situation is if you allow the budget deficit to increase and you increase public debt. They have no idea. And you have so much debt, in fact, that you won't even be able to pay. All your money will go in paying interest. And you'll go bankrupt. Like the Deputy Prime Minister said, like what happened in Greece. They went bankrupt. People lost their houses, lost their jobs, and lost their pensions. This is what we are looking at. L'honorable Reza Outim, il a très bien expliqué dans son discours. Dans un langage simple, il a pris l'exemple, il a cité l'exemple d'une famille qui gagne 25 000 roupies comme salaire mensuel et qui commence à dépenser un peu plus que 25 000 roupies. Il a donné cet exemple, je trouve que c'était un très bon exemple. Parce que la famille dépense plus qu'il gagne, commence à prendre des emprunts. Et maintenant, vous devez payer les intérêts sur les emprunts. Et graduellement, vous rentrez dans une spirale infernale. Vous ne pouvez plus payer. Vous commencez à recevoir des lettres, la maison est saisie, vous perdez votre emploi, c'est la faillite. C'est pour une famille, mais c'est la même chose pour un pays, seulement sur une plus grande échelle. C'est la même logique. Madame Speaker, Madame la Présidente, le déficit budgétaire, les médecins qui sont là vont comprendre, c'est comme la tension artérielle. Votre tension monte graduellement. 100, 110, 115, 120, 140, 200.
Oh là là.
Boum. Vous ne réalisez pas que la tension monte. Vous savez, il y a des gens, Maurice, les médecins vont comprendre, qui croient qu'ils ne prennent pas leurs médicaments, ils pensent qu'ils vont prendre quand la tension va monter. Et quand vous demandez, mais comment vous savez la tension a monté? Mais dis non, j'ai une mal à la tête à l'arrière. High blood pressure is a symptomless disease. It's a misnomer to say that you're getting headache, you know your blood. It's a silent killer. And then what happens? You suddenly get a stroke, vous êtes paralysé, ou bien vous avez un arrêt cardiaque. Peut-être on a le temps de vous amener dans un ICU, comme c'est le cas à Maurice, ou bien probablement vous perdez votre vie. This is what a rising budget deficit does. Because when you rise the budget deficit, you're rising the public debt at the same time. So you get into the same spiral infernal, which leads to bankruptcy. You should never, never allow the budget deficit to get into double digits. But here, the budget deficit is 9.8%. So, not very far from being a double digit. Not very far at all. And as I said, a rising deficit means a rising public debt. As stated in the statement I made, our public debt is up 90% of GDP. They had forecast, manipulating figures, they had forecast 71.9% of GDP. That is 574 billion rupees. But in fact, it is 642 billion rupees, 90%. Let me remind the House, those in the Labour Party will know, when we left office, we had rigor. You know, I had an advisor who was the advisor of the former Conservative Prime Minister, Lady Thatcher, Alan Walters. I took him because he's a good economist. And when he left, he told me, at least people won't be saying that you mismanage the economy. Our public debt was below 60%, 59.1%, which is the normal European red line. Not all of them follow it, but it is that. What they did here, they increased it from 60% to 80% by statute. And then they themselves did not follow the line. They did not respect what they had put in statute. They brought it to 90% of GDP. Now, 90% of GDP debt, you know what it means? Debt servicing as 21.8 billion rupees. Notre revenu est à peu près 180 milliards. Donc, 21,8 milliards, on va payer les intérêts sur nos dettes. C'est l'argent qu'on aurait pu dépenser ailleurs, pour la santé, pour l'éducation. Instead, we are paying the debt, the interest on the debt. 30% de notre revenu pour payer les intérêts sur la dette qu'ils ont accumulée, eux. Et pour donner l'illusion que tout est bien, tout est en rose, qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Ils obligent la Banque de Maurice, the Central Bank, d'imprimer des billets, 180 milliards de roupies de billets, pour donner de l'argent, nous avons su, à leurs proches, à leurs amis, copains, copines, comme cadeau. Et comme cadeau, avant les élections. This is what the MSM regime did to the people of this country. We should not forget this. We should never forget this. This was a criminal, reckless management of the economy, just to hang on to power and to continue, of course, to steal and to loot the country. That is what they're doing, that's what they have been doing. They remind me of the Pied Piper, those who know the story. He took his flute, played nice tunes, everybody followed until they all fell in the precipice. That's exactly what he did. C'est ça la trahison, la vraie trahison du MSM envers le peuple mauricien. You know, I'll tell you a story, I will try to stick to my time. There's no limit, but I know. You know, before the election, we had fought the election separately, 2019. But they reached a point that I met the Deputy Prime Minister. And there's one question I asked him if he remembers. I said, you have been Prime Minister, I have been Prime Minister. Are you agreeable with what is happening to this country? Of course he didn't agree. Then I said, but we can't sit and let it happen to Mauritius. Because we're both patriots. We can't let this happen. This is how. And thank heavens we did. It is, I asked myself, we asked ourselves, is it conceivable? I remember you asked me that question. Is it conceivable that the ex-Minister of Finance, Mr. Padiachi, or the former Prime Minister, Mr. Pravin Jagannath, that's the way we should call him, did not know? They didn't realize what they were doing, you think? Irrevocably pulling the country towards the precipice and bankrupting the country? Were they economic illiterates? They didn't understand anything about economics. They should have gone and bought, you know, these series for dummies for economics. They should have bought and bought one and see a bit. C'était deux illettrés économiques qui s'en foutaient des Mauriciens et du pays. Pour eux, ce qui était important, c'est s'enrichir et s'agripper au pouvoir. This was the objective. Voilà la réalité. Distribuer de l'argent qui n'était pas leur argent pour rester au pouvoir. This is the naked truth about the MSM. They committed what I can call economic vandalism. This is what they did. Des vrais voyous aux commandes du pays. But thank heavens, the people, in spite of giving them all these gifts, cadeaux, jobs, money, threats, all this, in spite of that, the people booted them out because the people knew what they did not know or did not care to know. The people knew that there is no such thing as a free lunch. It doesn't exist. You cannot defy economic gravity with impunity. Basic economics are. You know, there's a saying, I don't know why they don't know this, when you are fallen into a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. They continue to dig. You know, like the Deputy Prime Minister said, I shudder had the people not voted for our alliance. What would have happened to this country? I dare not think. It would have been exactly, we didn't compare notes, huh? But I wanted to say the same thing. It would have been exactly what happened in Greece, what happened in Sri Lanka, the same way. In Greece, people again lost their jobs, as I said, pensions, houses. And Greece, as the Deputy Prime Minister pointed out, Greece had the advantage that we don't have. First of all, the bigger country, the advantage of being in the European Union with the central bank, European Central Bank, behind them, trying to help. But in spite of this, they paid the dire consequences of what they did, of the previous government did. This is exactly what would have happened to us, to all Mauritians. This is exactly what would have happened. Not only the previous government took away our liberty and freedom, and there's no such thing more precious than liberty. And people understood this. They voted avec la rage. Vous avez vu? But ils ont aussi confisqué l'État mauricien. As I say, had we not taken over, me, the DPM, you, the whole population would have been dead by now, economically, I mean. Madame la Présidente, j'ai parlé du déficit budgétaire de cette dette publique. Mais, je vous ai dit, je ne veux pas répéter tout, ça sinon ce sera trop long, mais chaque semaine, à travers les questions parlementaires, bien pertinentes, certains d'entre vous, de nos backbenchers, et je dois les féliciter, nous découvrons les frasques du gouvernement MSM et ses acolytes. La liste est trop longue pour répéter. Il y a d'autres orateurs qui ont répété d'ailleurs, qui l'ont redit. Mais ce n'est pas juste la dette publique, c'est ce qu'ils ont fait aussi. But it's clear, Madam Speaker, that we had to take the bull by the horns and take the difficult but essential measures to steer the state ship out of this wreckage and bring it out in the open sea, calm open sea. That's why we say from abyss to prosperity. But as the Deputy Prime Minister said, that also I don't understand. Our mandate is 5 years. We have inherited a mess. It will take time. Rome was not built in one day. Who doesn't know this? This is why, like the Deputy Prime Minister, I also ask people to show solidarity. Let's do the right things. That will be a sacrifice, not forever. For maybe 2 years, 3 years, a bit more, we'll see. But let me make it very clear. There is no other option. Madam Speaker, as I'm addressing the issue of public debt, I also want to say, to disprove the false accusation made by the opposition about the increase in public sector debt for the past 7 months. They said it, you will see it, the MSM Chatwas at SunTrust writing, then you see a member of the press take it up, and they start believing. The leader of the opposition has been saying, malevolently I think, accusing the government of increasing public sector debt by 96 billion rupees over that period we have been in power. At the same time, the former finance minister is claiming that since we assumed office, the public sector debt has increased by 66 billion rupees. So, which is which? Their estimates are different, clearly flawed. They could not even agree between themselves what is the figure. And they're placing the blame for the rise in the public debt on the government. They conveniently forget completely, they ignore the fact that we are actually still executing a budget they themselves presented. Their budget ends at the end of June, 30th of June of this year. This is what they're doing. This is the increase in debt. Except what we had done, we had to pay the 14th month bonus to the maximum of people that we could, and then we had to put this salary compensation. The public sector debt will increase from 586.4 million rupees from September 2024 to 642 billion rupees at the end of June of this year. And I said, the only thing we did was to add this 8.4 billion rupees for the 14th month bonus and the 2025 salary compensation. These were two measures we had promised. We did not know when I met the Deputy Prime Minister when we were going to put. We did not know. We knew they were massaging figures. It was obvious. People have resigned from official positions because they refuse to cooperate and manipulate figures. I won't mention names. Some took early retirement. But we knew that this was happening, but didn't know the extent. So we took this as a caring government. We decided, in spite of that, we will pay this 14-month bonus. 90% of people got it. And the compensation salary, because there has been massive depreciation of the rupee, and inflation was double-digit. And we had promised to try to bring prices down. So this is what we did. The bulk of the increase in public sector debt was due to that irresponsible fiscal stewardship of the previous government. It's staggering 85% of the 55.6 billion rupees, 85% of the rise in public sector debt is attributable to them. And I don't have to tell people, everybody knows that they had overstated revenues, underestimated significantly expenditures, all aim at creating the illusion everything is rosy, everything is fine. And as a result of this disastrous decade of fiscal mismanagement, government public sector debt has increased from 59.5% to 90% of GDP, which is a dramatic increase, 30% percentage points. Madam Speaker, let me now address this issue that has been raised, this basic retirement pension. As the Deputy Prime Minister said, who wants to become unpopular and try to do something that won't please people? Who? But you have to think of the country first, not yourself. First of all, we have said it, it is a non-contributory pension. Many people don't. For example, they speak about MPs. These are contributory pensions. You pay every month. This BRP is non-contributory. Non-contributory means that the beneficiary doesn't contribute anything, but he receives a pension. And how do we pay for it? It is paid from the national budget, taxpayers' money, government borrowing. And such all increases in the amount of BRP can only be financed either through higher debt or higher taxes. There is no other way. There is no magic bullet. Second, the cost of the BRP payment has become explosive. BRP spending in Mauritius has soared. In 2010, it was 1.9%. It reached 7.8% in 2024-2025. Expenditure just on basic retirement pension is going to be 55.4 billion rupees this year. As I said in Parliament, Madam Speaker, it is rare for a country to provide old age pension to all persons who are 60, irrespective of their income or assets. And it is a pension, as I said, it is non-contributory. Mauritius is a very rare case. The DPM just said France is increasing. In France, they're going to try it. It's 64, they want to increase it again. Germany wants to make it 70. In most countries, Seychelles, yes, the Deputy Prime Minister mentioned Seychelles. In most cases, it is contributory, mean-tested, and in our case, it is universal with no eligibility test. Third point that I need to make, demographic pressures. They are aggravating the cost implication of the bill. Mauritius is facing a rapidly aging population. Rising population, declining birth rate. You don't have to be a great mathematician to understand what is happening. The population aged 60 and over has grown substantially from 186,400 in 2015 to 257,600 in 2024. And it is expected to reach 315,000 by 2030. As a result, the cost of the basic retirement pension on the government budget will then exceed 100 billion rupees. Do people realize what it means? Fourth, with this trend, demographic trend, the ratio of the working age population per retiree is plummeting. This means fewer workers are supporting more retirees. This obviously will have to place because I explained how do we pay this BRP. And with the decrease that fewer workers are going to support more retirees, in other words. And fifth, a budgetary crisis is looming. The BRP expenses now, unbelievably, people don't realize this. It outstrips the combined budget of health and education. And possibly the same, you could put housing, part of housing in it. In the last 14 years, spending on pension has ballooned to a staggering, believe it or not, 828%. In only 4 years, from 2020 to 2021, 2020 to 2024, it almost doubled to 27.9, from 27.9 billion to 55.4 billion. 828%. Une augmentation de 828%, Madame la Présidente. This is why we say it's unsustainable, not just us. Go and see, every expert is saying it. Largely due to ballooning pension liabilities. We are already experiencing actual deficits of 51.4 million in the state statutory bodies pensions funds. This constitutes a contingent liability, which we again will weigh on the public finance. Madam Speaker, the writing has been on the wall for a long time. Let me quote the former Finance Minister, Pravin Jagannath, then Minister of Finance. Let me quote what he said. He said, I'm quoting, a number of reports have questioned the long-term sustainability of the basic retirement pension, especially as our population is fast aging and the BOP is fully funded out of government revenues. Budget speech 2004 to 2005, unquote. Madam Speaker, in the draft report of a technical committee on pensions, pension reforms, under the MSM regime in February of 2018. This is what they said, and I quote again. Given the progressive aging of the population, existing pension plans are fiscally unsustainable. They themselves say this, their own report. But the MSM ignored all the warnings. Why? For pure political reasons. That report recommended a number of reforms to be brought to the pension system. All of them totally ignored for sheer political and lack of courage, no guts to take the right decision for the country. They knew the patient was in the ICU. They knew what the prescription was to get him out of the ICU, but they did not have the guts to do the right thing. They did not prevent the patient from going into a coma. This is what they did. As far back as 2015, I got the report out, I read it. The IMF, in an expert report, projected that by 2050, expenditure on BOP would be at an unsustainable level of 8% of GDP. They say that in their report. But because of the irresponsibility of the previous government, we have already reached 7.8%. They predicted by 2050 it will be 8%. Already, 2025, we are 7.8%. That is, we are 25 years ahead of what the IMF had projected. Do you realize what this means? The report of the World Bank in 2021, Mauritius through the eye of a perfect storm. And I quote, it says, the bulk of social spending is more than 50%. This is currently on the basic retirement pension, which is increasingly costly, poorly targeted, and creates adverse labor market incentives. Unquote. You know the World Bank, let me quote something else. Say something else. It says Mauritius is a rapidly aging society, which will lead to a rapid growth of spending on the basic retirement scheme, pension. And it will has the potential for squeezing out pro-poor spending. And of course, it doesn't say this, but I'm quoting, it also says, it's also clear that it will crowd out other investments. The CSG tax, in spite of that clear evidence they had, in spite of the repeated warnings they got, in spite of the plea that we must do the reform, the previous government swept it under the carpet. They even made it worse through their reckless policies, notably by introducing this famous contribution sociale généralisée. The CSG was introduced in September 2020, replacing the National Pension Fund, which was established in 1976 through the vision of SSR. It operated as a contributory, let me remind the House, funded, it was a contributory funded scheme. Both employees and employers made mandatory contributions. And these were prudently, not invested anywhere, prudently invested to ensure their long-term sustainability and to provide retirement benefits linked to the individual contributions. In contrast, this CSG, it was designed to pay as you go. It wasn't invested, pay as you go. So they pay out the benefits immediately. No direct link between what the individual contributes and what he or she ultimately receives. It has revealed very early on, it has revealed deep structural weaknesses that now threaten the very foundations of our pension system and the fiscal health of our nation. First and foremost, there has been a diversion of the CSG revenue that they were getting toward non-pension related expenses, just for political expediency. Nothing to do with pension. Then they failed to secure retirees, so they added 9 billion rupees to the government deficit this fiscal year. 9 billion. No projections, no policy change, but greater liabilities. Let us be clear, the CSG, we said this when we were in opposition. I know the MMM also said it. Maybe our other friends said it, I don't know. We all said that the CSG is a regression and it is a tax. Yes. That's what it is. Unlike the NPF, the CSG is not managed by any independent fund. So it is vulnerable to political abuse and fiscal mismanagement. And we have witnesses, we've seen examples. It undermines the principle of ring fencing pension assets for the exclusive benefit of the retirees. That is what has happened. And the absence of a funded reserve in the context of a budget deficit that today's contributions, CSG contributions, are immediately spent, they leave nothing for tomorrow for the retirees. The model is clearly unsustainable. Is it a pension? It is a tax. Under the CSG, there is no direct relationship at all between what the individual pays and what he receives or she receives in retirement. Therefore, what happens? This discourages savings, erodes public trust in the system, which it has, and worse, the former Minister of Finance, I don't know how this happened, somebody asked him a question, he ended up saying, well, there is no money at all in the CSG now, completely depleted. And this has forced government to finance pensions directly from the budget. What happens? It adds to the public debt, crowding out, as I said, other essential expenditures. And this, people don't realize, and this is what has happened, it has placed the entire pension system at the mercy of politicians and fiscal constraint. Therefore, there's nothing predictable for our elderly. It is a failed policy, that CSG. Like most of the policies of the previous government, all have failed. And it has failed to resolve that essential challenge of pension sustainability. In fact, it has compounded the problem, placing our seniors, our public finances, our social fabric in jeopardy. This is what it has done. Therefore, this is why we must urgently reconsider the system, restore independent contributory pension funding, and ensure that the sacrifices of today's workers are not squandered for short-term political gain. That is what we must do. Even what the reserves that are left in the NPF, this also will be eventually exhausted. While we are taking bold decisions that should have been taken, as I said, a long time ago. Ils ont le culot, comme a dit le Deputy Prime Minister, et aussi, je crois, certains autres ministres. Ils ont le culot d'aller manifester avec les travailleurs. Ces mêmes travailleurs dont ils ont dévalisé les pensions. Oui, André Valide, tu as raison. You know, they are like these maggots who come out of dead bodies. But at least the maggots are eating the dead bodies for eating. These people, these maggots, is for greed. That is why they're there. Real maggots. It reminds me of a well-known Bhojpuri expression. Kal ke gunda, aaj ke sadhu.
Translation.
Yesterday, je vais traduire. Yesterday's hooligan is as if today's angel. We are seeing the emergence of political sharks without an iota of self-respect, wringing out of the stinkholes, and they're trying to reclaim their long-lost political virginity. That is what they're doing. C'est même Botou, Madame la Présidente, reconnu par la population comme étant les fossoyeurs de l'État-providence. Aujourd'hui, le toupet devait dire que ce budget, c'est la fin de l'État-providence. Comment dire Ali Baban bin Robin des Bois. Ensuite, c'est un peu le créole, Madame la Présidente, un petit bout. This is why the Deputy Prime Minister said, we will not shudder from our decisions. And I tell you frankly, I think about it. We have a dream team. I've said it many times. It is the luck of this country that myself and the Deputy Prime Minister are there, together with our friends and Richard Duval. You know, I think I need to say this. The Deputy Prime Minister, leader of the MMM, has been a finance minister. And I tell you something, I wasn't in politics at the time, but I followed. And SSR followed. He also agreed. He took the hard decisions then in 1982, in spite of 2 devaluations from Sabira Samiringadu, who was Minister of Finance. I even discussed this with him. And you know what he said? Maybe the former Prime Minister will agree. He said to me, the mistake we made, we should have devalued by more the first time. But again, probably pressure, political pressure, they devalued by less, they had to re-devalue again, and this is what happened. And Honorable Paul Béranger took the decision that had to be taken. I think you spoke to the IMF came. Had he not taken those decisions, you know, this is the, what can I call it? Hein? C'est pas la vie. This is the paradox.
Maybe le takdir, maybe
Takdir. This is the paradox. He takes the difficult decisions. He was pilloried on a communal basis because the decision was difficult. Not everybody could have taken it. He could have taken it, but not everybody would have taken it. He was pilloried and they turned it into a communal argument. And then they claimed, they collected the fruits and they said, je suis le père du miracle économique. C'est lui le véritable père du miracle. I tell you, I really believe it. It is the destiny of this country.
That's it.
It's as if God's hand is showing us the way, that we had to come in at this time. You know, I remember what Churchill said. Churchill had all these difficulties, but he was a great orator. When he became eventually Prime Minister, he said, I'm walking as if my whole life was preparing me for this moment. And I tell you, this is the moment that we have to be there together as one to save that country, otherwise and we are going to do what we can do. We are socialists. We, both parties, the Résistance and Alternative as well, and we're happy they are with us. Nouveau démocrate, peut-être pas trop, mais un peu. We were born in the opposition, fighting for those who had no voice, the voiceless of this country. both parties. I was telling this the other day to my good friend Ashok Subon. We started that way, and then being pragmatic, like what happened in Sri Lanka, we moved a bit to the center. The MMM followed the same, and I'm hoping you will follow. This is why we have done two things, Madam Speaker. We have announced in the paragraph 240 in the budget speech that we will set up a committee of experts. We are not experts. We want them to carry out in-depth study of the pension system to come up with a sustainable and fairer system. That is what we want to do. And secondly, Cabinet has agreed. We're naming two commissions to look into provision relief. I'm chairing one. My friend Ashok Subon, Honorable Subon, is chairing the other. We are looking at possible relief, if we can, for those who do hard jobs, who are on low pay. There is a principle in taxation. You help those on low income. That is the basic principle in finance. But we will look at all this. Those who should have got their pension, they're not probably going to get these two commissions. And we think, I've spoken to the Deputy Prime Minister, I just spoke to my friend Minister Subon, that maybe in the interest of time, eventually, soon, we should merge these two commissions together so that we can come to rapid decisions, because it is a very, very difficult situation. Madam Speaker, we are a small island state, vulnerable to global geopolitical and economic events. Our history is fraught with examples of how we have combated the tyranny of both history and geography to shape our destiny. You mentioned, the Honorable Jitan mentioned the two Nobel Prize economists. You mentioned two, but there are three in fact. Mead and Tismuth, and there is Naipaul as well. No man, Madam Speaker, is an island unto itself. No man. We are all part of the main continent. Our nation too is part of the world. So we cannot be as if shielded from the ripples effects of global events. Current geopolitical tensions in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East. We've seen what is happening in the Middle East. Fortunately, we hope things calm down. We have more frequent natural calamities. You saw what happened in France yesterday. Nobody believed in full summer. The resurgence of trade protectionism are sending shock waves through the international markets, straining supply chains, raising import costs, and especially for us, for our key sectors, food security, energy, they pose fresh challenges to our export-driven industries, to our tourism industry, and overall for our economic outlook. They remind us, Madam Speaker, as I said, no one is an island unto itself. They remind us that our destiny is inextricably linked with the broader currents of global affairs. We are a trading nation, a small country, be it, but we're a small, open economy. We will have to sail through these rough seas and troubled waters. We cannot expect to be totally immune from the adverse effects of global events, but we can be determined and resilient. That we must be. As I stated to the House on Monday, Madam Speaker, let us hope that good sense, wisdom will prevail between that peace, fragile peace agreement between Israel and Iran, and we will get a peaceful, permanent solution to that conflict, because this is very important, extremely important for the stability of the global economy. And precisely because we might be a small island state, but we are not immune to the global effects. I need to also add what the Deputy Prime Minister said about Moody's rating. Why is it important for us? The first thing, as we were discussing this, we didn't compare notes, I can tell you. The first thing that is being misinterpreted, they misinterpret both roles, IMF and Moody's. The Deputy Prime Minister just mentioned it in very clear terms. The IMF has nothing to do with this budget. I don't know who thought of this. The IMF publishes reports on all countries it covers. It is not dictating us what to do. We're not in that position. We have read that. Some countries have. Greece had. Sri Lanka has. Even Great Britain, the United Kingdom, I should say, has at one point in the 70s. This is what we want to avoid this, Madam Speaker. But to escape it, we have to take the measure, the corrective measure that we should have been taking. Because the shipwreck is looming. We cannot, so to speak, cannot ignore what the credit ratings institutions like Moody's do, the report. We cannot ignore the report. Among other things, Moody's issues credit ratings for countries. Why? So that investors are aware of the economic situation in that country and the risk or no risk of investing in that country. That is what it does. Now, let me just clarify something that perhaps people don't follow properly. The highest rating for Moody's is AAA. That is the top notch. And the lowest is CAA3 or C. When that happens, the country is described as the junk status. It's given that status. And a downgrade to junk status has dire consequences, as the Deputy Prime Minister said. We must absolutely avoid it. What it means is that we will not honor our debt. More likely, we will not honor our debt. That is, if you invest in that country, you might lose. You might not be able to recuperate your money. That is what it means. The country is likely to default on its payments. It means that if this country wants to borrow money abroad, again, they will think twice before giving you any money. I must tell you something that perhaps people don't realize. We ourselves didn't say it enough. When we left government in 2014, you know what our credit rating was? Baa1 stable, which is a very high investment grade, a high grade. It is not the highest, but next to the highest. This is what it is. We left in April 2020. Moody's downgraded Mauritius to Baa1, negative. Not junk, but still a downgrade. A downgrade means what? That you have to correct a few things. You don't continue as if nothing has happened, but they didn't. So in March 2021, 1 year later, Moody's downgraded us again, this time to Baa2, negative. Nothing. As if it's coming through 1 year, going to the other. Passe-le de la tête, ça. Vous avez imprimé, vous avez compte de l'or. Ça, vous devez faire. Hello? 1 year later, July 2022, again, Moody downgraded us to Baa3 this time. Still nothing. Again, what happened in 2024? This has come out in January of this year. Again, Baa3, this time not stable, negative. So, Moody's has degraded Mauritius 4 times during the MSM regime in power, the incompetence and the mismanagement of the economy. 4 times. And they did not react, just like the pension, sweep it under the carpet. You know why? This is why they were surprised. They think whatever they do, when the election time comes, they will do a propaganda. I've been attacked every day on NBC, every day. I'm still here. The Deputy Prime Minister has been attacked. As if he has, no, Béranger. This is what they do when election comes, and they thought that this time this will work as well. But God decided otherwise. They didn't count on this. So they didn't take action, and we are facing this problem. Now, I must say also, Madam Speaker, when a country loses its investment grade, the grade status, and is labeled check, it can face several economic and financial consequences. People have said briefly, but I want to add a few more. First thing that happens when it becomes jack, higher borrowing costs. A downgrade investment grade means higher risk to investors. Therefore, investors demand higher interest rates to compensate for that risk. And therefore, everything becomes more expensive. Second thing happens that people don't realize, capital outflows. Many institutional investors, they sit in New York, in London, or whatever. They want to make money and profit. They don't come here because they like our beaches and our sea. So when they see what this is happening, I'm talking about pension funds, insurance companies, these are big investors. And they have mandates, they have boards. Not chatwas on the boards, real boards. But they have to answer questions. So they have mandates to invest only in countries that are safe. The result, a downgrade can trigger forced selling countries' bonds, therefore leading to capital flight, and therefore pressure on the currency. What happens? You get depreciation again, because you have reduced investor confidence, capital is outflowing, you get pressure on your rupee, and you get again depreciation. Depreciation means higher cost of imports, and then you get your fuel inflation. This is what happens. And Mauritius, we are highly dependent on imported goods in foreign currency denominations. Weaker investor confidence means the ratings mean that this country is not sure for economic stability. Therefore, both foreign and domestic investment, they won't invest in the banking sector. Domestic banks, perhaps people don't know this, our domestic banks, they hold large amounts of money in government bonds. This it weakens the balance sheets. Again, this reduces their capacity to lend, and you raise again financial risk in that sector. A downgrade may also reflect concern about fiscal discipline, governance, and macroeconomic stability. Therefore, it erodes trust among investors, trade partners, even citizens. Therefore, the potential for a vicious cycle is there in front of us, staring at us, as the DPM said. It's staring at us now. I tell you something. When we won the elections, Modi had already said, just on when you came in, on what they did, we should downgrade us. We made pleas to send the chief economic advisor, and I thank him, to talk to them. Give us a chance. Don't downgrade us. We did all the efforts that we had to do, because otherwise everybody is affected, not just the banks, not just the businessmen, even the individuals who are here will be affected. This is why we're doing our level best to take all the measures we can to stop the rot. Otherwise, we would slide into economic chaos. Now I ask myself, who in the world, in this country, would want this to happen? Who? Nobody. And I repeatedly said, Madam Speaker, I repeatedly said, je n'ai pas de bâton magique dans ma main. It doesn't exist. Le pays est dans un précipice économique et social. On a reculé de 10 ans. tout ce qu'on a bâti depuis l'indépendance, depuis 1968, s'était frondé entre 2014 et 2024. Sous les règnes des vautours successifs, des papas petits, des ganates, papa petits, nous ne pays là, on doit des journalistes. But as I said, I am ready to assume all the responsibilities I have to, and so is the DPM. We have a united front. We're all united in this fight because we are patriots and we have to defend this country. Difficult decisions, yes, but we have to take the difficult decisions to let Mauritius become Mauritius again. That is what we have to do. Neither I nor the DPM are doing this de gaieté de cœur, comme il a dit. But in life, you must do what you must do to save your country as a true patriot. Madam Speaker, the doctors again will understand. If the patient has a gangrene, his foot has got gangrene, the surgeon has no choice. He has to chop off the foot to save the patient, otherwise the patient will die. This is exactly what we are doing. It is a difficult choice. This budget is not about austerity, as some people are saying. It is about responsibility. It is not about politics, day-to-day politics, but it is about the prosperity and the well-being of the whole nation, of our youth, of our children and grandchildren of tomorrow. Therefore, let us move forward, Madam Speaker, boldly, with courage, with purpose, with compassion, with confidence, with determination, and leave the proud legacy for future generations. That we must do to save this country. Les défis nationaux et mondiaux appellent à des solutions courageuses, Madame la Présidente, courageuses et innovantes. Et je suis persuadé que la population, dans sa grande majorité, comprend la précarité de la situation. Ils ne sont pas bêtes. Qu'elle fera preuve de solidarité et qu'elle participera à la reconstruction du pays. I also make this appeal as the Deputy Prime Minister did. Even to those who don't seem to understand, please try to understand. There is a reason why everyone here came from different continents and God put us on that small piece of land. It is our duty, because when it rains, it affects us all. When there's a cyclone, it affects us all. Similarly, it doesn't matter who you are. You might be any community, any cause or whatever. You will be affected by the rain, by the sun. So we have a duty to be able to live together and save our country. That is what we are doing, Madam Speaker. I promise in my budget speech, I won't promise to take you to heaven, but I certainly shall prevent you from going to hell. That is what I say. L'histoire, je termine, Madame la Présidente, l'histoire nous jugera sur l'héritage que moi et le Deputy Prime Minister, mais aussi nos partenaires, Résistance et Alternative et Nouveaux Démocrates, laisseront aux générations futures. We are at a crucial point in our history. We are working with destiny. It is our destiny. It was our destiny. It is our destiny to be here now at this point in our history to come and save the nation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
May I correct what I said earlier about Taqdeer, which means destiny? There's also Takbir, which means what you do yourself. I just want, so that there's no misunderstanding, destiny, but Takbir means I will also do something. Je ne fais pas que subir. C'est ça que j'ai compris de ce que vous avez dit. Yes? Yes. Start, yes. Yes?
Committee of Supply.
je vais rester debout. D'accord? Honourable members. Yes, please be seated. Honourable members, I wish to inform the House that an indicative time allocation normally should have been worked out and be mutually agreed between the whips, but I understand it didn't actually work. So what I do is I am myself suggesting, as I can, as Speaker, as a general rule that we opt for 2 minutes per programme. I've had it worked out all beautifully. So what I will exercise some flexibility when the need arises. Accordingly, we will proceed page by page for the orderly conduct of the Committee of Supply. I'm also drawing your attention to Standing Order 73.3, which reads as follows. Discussions at the committee shall be confined to the details of the estimates and shall not refer to the general principles of government policy and administration. Honourable members are requested to be brief in their questions, and honourable ministers are encouraged to keep their responses equally concise. Moreover, honourable members are further informed that the votes pertaining to the centralised services of government will be called out of turn, that is, immediately after the committee will have considered the votes of expenditure for the Ministry of Finance. I rely on your cooperation to ensure the smooth and orderly conduct of the Committee of Supply. Thank you. C'est trop lourd pour moi, il faut pousser. Please stand up when you speak to me.
Yes. Chairperson, did we understand correctly it will be 2 minutes per program, not per item, as was discussed?
Per item, per item. Okay. Sorry, it was per item. Okay, we will start. Okay.
Office of the President.
The question is that the sum of 115,500,000 rupees for program code 0101, Presidency Affairs, stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. You have a question? Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson. May I refer to
Can you speak up?
item?
Little bit, speak up.
Yeah. May I refer to item page 2, item 22,900, other goods and services. There is an increase from 6.3 million to 9 million. Can we be provided with more information?
Can you tell us the exact item?
That is 22, on page 2,
Yes.
22,900.
22,900, yes. Other goods and services. Yes, what was your question? I'm sorry, I'm just beginning, so
Yes.
your question was what, why?
May we get information regarding the increase in
The
the
increase, okay.
budget? Thank you.
Prime Minister,
Yes,
did you get it?
Yes,
It was
I did.
about
Yes, I
goods
did.
and services, there was an increase.
it's about other goods and services, that is provision for uniform, provision for personal secretary of retired presidents and governor general.
Thank you, yes. Yes, you have a question?
I ask the Prime Minister, Chair. Extra allowance, 21, page 2, 21,110, decimal 005. There's an increase of...
Extra assistance,
Yes, there's an increase of 159% for this financial year? May we know, firstly, the number of advisors that are being appointed, if we can be provided with their names, qualifications, and the total remuneration in kind and in cash that they will perceive.
No. All you need to know is why it has been increased. Well, let us see what the Prime Minister has to say.
You might be entitled to know, but I'm not entitled to give you if I don't know. Because what do you think? I can get you all the names? Where do I get this? Well, I can table it. Of course I can table it, but I'm not able to give you all the names now. You can ask.
Prime Minister,
I can table it. But
Yes.
can you tell me again, please? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear. What page and what number?
Yes. So it's 21, 1,
005.
0, decimal
It's
0,
at the
0,
top
5.
of
Is
page
it page
2.
2?
Top of page 2.
Ah, okay.
Let me say.
Yeah, okay, I can tell you.
Yes.
There's provision here for traveling and transport.
Extra assistance. Chut!
Page 2005.
Hein? Oui. Essayez de-
Office expenses.
Extra assistance. 005. Voilà,
page
you've
2.
got the
I can't see it
answer.
on page 2. It's about increase in provision to cater for salaries and allowances payable to 3 advisors, and the advisor to the current President of the Republic. He's entitled to have advisors. He's taken his advisors. I can give you the names later.
Okay, yes. Next one. Therefore, the question is, we're still on Office of the President. The question is at the sum of 115,500,000 rupees for program code 0101, Presidency Affairs, and part of the schedule. The ayes have it.
Aye.
Office of the Vice President.
Office of the Vice President.
The question is that the sum of 21,500,000 rupees for program code 0102 Vice Presidency Affairs stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it. National Assembly. But you too, I'm sorry. But you don't say, I looked. All right. Members, I have said in the past, je ne suis pas une maîtresse d'école. Arrêtez, si vous voulez qu'on gagne du temps, vous me laissez faire. J'ai un petit peu d'autorité, je crois. Allez-y, mais faites-vous bien remarquer.
Yes,
à
thank
chaque
you.
fois. Allez-y, je vous écoute.
21,
Vice
may I
President.
ask the Prime Minister, 21110, page 4, decimal 005. Anyway, he doesn't need the page, he has the code, decimal 005. Oh, you do?
I
Right.
need the page.
Okay, extra assistance. I will ask the same question to the Prime Minister. Firstly, the
Extra,
reason...
Voilà. 005, bottom of the page, Prime Minister.
May I ask, yes, the question is, there's a 35% increase. May we know the number of advisors that have been appointed, their names, qualification, and their remuneration in kind and in cash? Please, the Honourable Prime Minister can provide us later.
But we mentioned earlier in the speech, you were not here, that very often, this is why we try to clarify. Anybody is called advisors. Now here, for example, you have 2 household attendants, but they're classified as advisors. There's 1 cook, classified as advisors. They're not advisors. But this is something we want to cure, because people think that the president taking so many advisors, but it's not that. The vice president. Yeah. Now I can tell you basically it's for the basic salary is about 6,175,000 rupees. Then there's salary compensation. Then you have allowances. You have a house allowance, duty allowance, and so on. and then you have extra assistant. The extra assistant is for payment of salaries of one advisor, one cook, and 2 household attendants. So, I'll let you know about the name of the advisor, but this is what I said.
All right. So I was on Office of the Vice President. Question is that the sum of 21,500,000 rupees for program code 0102 Vice Presidency Affairs stand part of the schedule. The ayes have it. National Assembly, that concerns everybody. You have a question? Yes? You? Yes? Leader?
Go to page 8, Chairperson, with regard to item 31112
112.
442. That is upgrading of
Upgrading
building.
of building, yes?
Yeah. Can we have more information with regard to item B? It is repairs of
Yes.
Old Parliament House.
It's taking place right now, huh, by the way.
This is a project that was supposed to be implemented in the last financial year, but was not. It was delayed for some reason, so it has to be reprogrammed.
Yes? Yes?
On the same page, item 31122.824, acquisition of equipment for live broadcasting. Can we have an indication of what type of equipment we are talking about?
In fact, it is exactly what is said for live equipment. In fact, they want to have a live broadcasting, there is a live broadcasting studio that they have to equip.
Studio, yes. C'est écrit, hein? Okay, can we have that vote? Yes, National Assembly. The question is that the sum of 268,202,000 rupees, 200,000 rupees for program code 0103, Parliamentary Affairs, and part of the schedule. The ayes have it. Yes. I have to put the question again. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Electoral Supervisory Commission and Electoral Boundaries Commission.
Yes. No question. The question is that the sum of 3,300,000 rupees for program code 0104, supervision of electoral activities and review of electoral boundaries and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Office of the Electoral Commissioner.
The question is that the sum of 123,500,000 rupees for program code 0105, electoral services, and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Yes, Mr. Levin?
Yes, Madam Chair. Page 16, under caption Human Resources, SN6, Electoral Officer. Page 16, under caption Human Resources, SN6, Electoral Officer.
Yes.
May we have more details as to why you have fundings for only 15 posts instead of 20, as was the case in the last financial year, please?
Have you found it?
I'll have to find out why they have reduced it. I can't say. I'll let you know.
There's a reply coming, I think. Quick, quick, quick. Huh? Yes. Then Mr. François, in the meantime, maybe we can get
Okay.
your reply. Okay.
In fact, they're saying that the funds provided not for 20 but 15 because they're 15.
Because?
They are 15. That is, there's 5 less.
Oh, there are 5 left. Okay, Mr. François.
Thank you very much, Chair. Page 15, item 22120, fees, decimal 016, fees in connection with elections, 10 million rupees. May I have some more details about this item, please?
Can you see the item? You've got the item?
I'm not sure. 22120?
Yes.
Yeah.
Decimal.
This is provision for the
Fees.
fees for the chairperson and the members of the boards.
No, I think it fees 120 you're asking?
Can I clarify a bit more if you want? This is, there was a by-election. No, there was not. No, this is exactly what I said.
Okay. Let me try and get my senses back. Office of the Electoral Commissioner, we were doing, right? You're happy, Mr. François?
Yes.
Yes, good. Question? The question is at the sum of 123,500,000 rupees for program code 0105 electoral services, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Judicial and Legal Service Commission.
Judicial and Legal Service. Yes. Okay. Very happy with the judiciary. So, the question is at the sum of 3 million rupees for program code 0106, recruitment and promotion of judicial and legal officers, and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it.
The judiciary.
The question is at the sum of 806,600,000 rupees for program code 0107, administration and delivery of justice, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Yes? Question?
Yes. On page 20, item number 22030, with regard to rent, can we have information why there is such a big increase in the rent? Chairperson?
I can tell you this is a rental. There's a QPIP district court. There's a rental for that. There's a rental for Bamboo district court and Flak district court. Plus, there's rental of parking slots for 5 to 5 managerial staff, because the work in the Supreme Court is the vicinity of the Supreme Court, and also there's rental for equipment, CCTV at the new courthouse.
Wow. Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes, Mr. François.
Thank you. On page 21, item 27210, decimal 010, legal assistance in forma pauperis. Can the Honorable Prime Minister table the number of cases and cost, and also with numbers of beneficiaries for more rates? Just table, please.
Beneficiaries in forma pauperis cases.
It's forwarding. I will. Can you tell me the item if you can tell me?
Item 27210, decimal 010.
Oh, social assistance benefits in
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. This is for legal advice and counseling during the recording of statement and statement and the warning from detainees. There's also for legal representation when they apply for bail, and then the expenditure for the different years.
Okay. When 22, 23. Okay. We're okay with the. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. 23. Yes.
Yeah, that's the Prime Minister. For human resources, 23.
Which one?
Yes,
23.
23. Human resources.
Quel numéro?
Ouais, j'y arrive. 48 et 61.
Word processing operator.
Yes, et
And then court
61.
usher.
Both of them. There's a
Yes.
reduction. We see 20 or so posts, nearly 20 posts, important posts for the functioning of justice being reduced. May we know why and what is going to be done?
20 au lieu de 25.
He's asking questions about the page with the different titles. but not on the item as such.
No, but if
You
I
want
may,
if you go to page 25 or 24, 25.
you will see the total, in fact, is reducing. I wanted to know why the reduction and what will be done.
So you're asking about the personal emoluments?
No, human
No,
resources.
the number, I think what he wants, Prime Minister,
Human resources.
is why are we having less,
Oh, why is this?
why are we
reduction?
having less
There was a provision for
word
20.
processing operators?
There was a provision for 20 word processing operators. It's not there anymore.
Et l'autre, c'était quoi?
Actually, 3 posts. There's court usher and senior court officer. All 3 posts have had
Okay.
reductions, yes.
Court usher.
We wanted to know what will be done.
But it seems that the funds for the court usher, for example, there are 65 in post
From 74.
from 74. We're probably trying
Maybe
to,
you don't need, I
they're
don't know.
getting the message that they have to save money.
Yes, time is up, time is up. We've already done it. Time is up. Time is up. Yes, the question is that the sum of 806,600,000 rupees for program code 0107 administration and delivery of justice stand part of the schedule. The ayes. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Okay, page 26. No, 27, 28, 29. Okay, fine. The question is that the sum, public service, no, DPP, Director of Public Prosecution. The question is that the sum of 215 million rupees for program code 0108, criminal advisory and litigation, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Public Service Commission and Disciplined Forces Service Commission.
Ali. PSC, DFSC. François, Mr. François.
Page by page.
Page, please.
Yes, thank you. Madam Chair, page 29, item 21110, personal emoluments. Can we have the names of the chairpersons and commissioners?
Of the PSC and DFSC? Yes. You can table. Please table.
It's already published.
It's already public. All right. The question is, we're happy? The question is that the sum of 154,800,000 rupees for program code 0109 public service and disciplined forces service affairs stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Public Bodies Appeal Tribunal.
No question. Good. Question is that the sum of 20,200,000 rupees for program code 0110, determination of appeals, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Office of Ombudsman.
Ombudsman, page 30. Ça va tellement vite. 35. No questions. The sum, question is that the sum of 20,500,000 rupees for program code 0111, protection against maladministration in the public sector, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
National Audit Office.
No question. National Audit Office. National Audit, no question. The question is that the sum of 195,400,000 rupees for program code 0112 external audit services stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Employment Relations Tribunal.
ERT.
No question.
No question. The question is that the sum of 26 million rupees for program code 0113, industrial and employment dispute resolution, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Local Government Service Commission.
LGSC, question is that the sum of 56,500,000 rupees for program code 0114, local government service affairs, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The question, j'ai pas dit? The ayes have it. C'est bon?
National Human Rights Commission.
National Human Rights Commission.
No.
Amazing. Okay, National Human Rights Commission. The question is that the sum of 37 million rupees for program code 0115, protection and promotion of human rights, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Office of Ombudsperson for Children.
No question. The question is that the sum of 26,600,000 rupees for program code 0116, protection of the rights and interests of children, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Independent Police Complaints Commission.
Yes?
Madam Speaker,
Page?
53. On page 53,
Yes?
0117,
Yes.
investigation to complaints against police officers. May I ask the Prime Minister, how many formal charges have been lodged and out of which successfully convicted, if he has, for the last year, of course?
No, I don't think you're, no. This is for a, you can put a PQ on this. No. The question, everybody is going to tell him what to do. Okay, I'm going to sit and relax. I am saying that you can put a PQ on this issue because all we need to know is the question of finance. Put it. Okay, percentage. Stand up.
Chair, it speaks of percentage of cases disposed, etc. I wanted to know how many formal charges have been lodged in the last financial year and how many have been successfully convicted. It's a fair question.
Okay, this normally
you
should have been
able
a
to give
question, but
that?
I can give him the debate. This should have been a question. Because if you think, I will tell you how many charges and all. Anyway, I'll tell you. There were 4,918 complaints. 2,006 of these 4,918, 2006 are still under investigation. But 78 complaints have gone to court, but we are waiting for the court determination. And 2,834 cases have been completed.
Okay. Now we're okay. The question is that the sum of 26, no, pardon. Independent Police Complaints Commission. The question is that the sum of 16 million rupees for program code 0117, investigation into complaints against police officers, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Office of the Ombudsperson for Financial Services.
Okay, Ombudsperson Financial Services. No question. The question is that the sum of 17,500,000 rupees for program code 0118, protection of consumers of financial services, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Financial Crimes Commission.
Okay, FCC. FCC, yes, stand up.
Yes, Chair, thank you. Page 50. Madam Chair, please, if you may ask them not to interrupt as soon as you rise. It completely breaks your concentration, and it's very childish. Page 59.
moi aussi, je vais m'en aller là. Hein.
59. You see, it's
59.
Yes, 59. 26,316, decimal 164. Staff costs.
26, page 59.
26,313, decimal 164. Staff costs.
Okay, I can see it.
Yes.
Extra budgetary units.
Yes, may I know from the Prime Minister, there is a notable increase in staff costs. May we know the number of staff, additional staff that is being recruited? And will he kindly provide us the grade for which they are being recruited?
Exactly. We want to clean these corrupt people who are still sitting in different places. We've had to increase the number of staff. I'm also increasing the number of staff because there are too many people who have committed all kind of frauds, crimes during the regime of the MSM. We have to clean. So we have increased the number of staff to 94 new posts. Secondly, I'm also asking our boss, Scotland Yard, to bring people to look at financial crimes, and all those things. So this also is going to cost.
May we know if the Prime Minister will kindly provide us with the grading, which is for which the post, for which the 94 are being recruited.
That is advertised in the paper, but I can table it.
It seems that there are lots of information that are already available. Maybe
It's the role of this assembly to
You expect me to tell you the 94 grades? No, you can wait.
Okay. Are we going to work or stay until 2 o'clock in the morning? Financial Crimes Commission. Mr. François. Yes.
Another question, Madam Chair. Page 59, item 26,313, decimal 164, Financial Crimes Commission over operating cost. Does this sum includes, of the 50 million, includes special missions to Rodrigues? And can the Honorable Prime Minister inform the House the number of missions carried out in Rodrigues for financial year 2024-2025, if available? Thank you.
They're independent, as you know. I don't ask them how many times you're going to where. They don't have to tell me, but it includes Rodrigues, yes.
Because Rodrigues is part of the Republic. Financial Crimes Commission. The question is that the sum of 415 million rupees for program code 0119, combating financial crimes, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Prime Minister's Office.
Prime Minister, Prime Minister's office. Your office now. Attention. Faites attention. Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Chair. Page 64, item 22,900.985. Expenses in connection with Chagos Archipelago. There is an increase of almost 15 million. Can we have details with regard to that?
Yes, let me tell you, page 64, item 22,900.985, expenses regarding Chagos Archipelago. There's an increase.
The increase is for catering for the following. There is the creation of a marine protected area around the Chagos Island that we plan to start working on, so we put a sum there of 5 million. There is the visit to Chagos Archipelago, and then there is resettlement in the Chagos. We have to start planning for this, and also there's other expenses in respect for that.
Yes, stand up.
Can we ask the Prime Minister the budgeted sum for the visit to the Chagos Archipelago? Can the Prime Minister give us the details thereof? Who is expected to go? Yes, exactly. what is being planned for that visit, for that budget?
We did say that, I think the Deputy Prime Minister said actually, that we are planning to have a full visit. We have to get first of all, we have to get the transport, the ship. We haven't done that yet. We're starting organizing, but we have to plan for it, we have to vote for it. Ship, myself, the Deputy Prime Minister, we have intentions of going. Whether we'll go together or separately, how many people can go in the ship, we don't know. So all this is working out.
Yes, Leader?
Honorable Prime Minister, on the same page,
Minister German.
item 31112.442, upgrading of building, can we be informed which building is being upgraded?
Yes, Prime
And
Minister.
naturally, but I know it's for waterproofing and also for the doors. But I can tell you which buildings, I don't have it here.
Does anybody want to help the Prime Minister? But we know that this is going on, by the way.
I can remember. In fact, I must tell you, when I walked in my own building, PMO, it was leaking. God knows why. Because it's a treasury building. The other thing that is not there is probably Chrysos has collapsed. Patrimoine de Maurice, rien n'a été fait.
You got a piece of paper.
That's what I said.
Une cachette de quelque chose, alors.
All right? Stand up, please.
The next program, yes, Jess.
Page
66.
If you want, 66, yes?
May I ask the Prime Minister, same question, can he provide the House with a list of his advisors? And page 66.
Quel item?
005, it's the same item, extra assistance,
Okay.
for all ministries, in fact. So 21110005, extra assistance. If we may request from the Prime Minister, the list of his advisors, number thereof, and if you can provide to the House qualification, and of course, benefits in kind and in cash.
Well, I can give you what I can at the moment is 3 of them are on a pro bono basis, 3 persons. You have Mrs. Fong Wen Puran, our Secretary for Home Affairs, Mrs. Banji, Senior Chief Executive, Mr. Ramdan as Director Government Information Service, and then I'll give you the list of others that are there.
Yes, Leader?
On page 66, item 22,900, other goods and services. I refer to specific item .014 regarding hospitality and ceremonies. The budget has almost doubled for financial year 2025-2026. Can we be given more information?
Yes, this is connected with dinners and lunches done for state visits. There were state visits, as you know, and also the accommodation of official delegations, VVIPs, government guests. There is also a payment to Atoll because the use of the state and VIP lounges.
Yes, but we are going.
Yes, Chair. Just to clarify from the Prime Minister, he gave me the names of advisors,
And
but
he said he would give the rest.
yes, and this is what I wanted to clarify. When will the Prime Minister, when he will provide his list, can he provide also? Can he
Vous voulez prendre ma place, Monsieur German?
can he provide in the
Moi, je
interim
m'en vais si vous voulez.
the number of advisors that he has appointed? In the interim, only that.
Yes, I can.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Madame la Présidente, je voudrais avoir un éclaircissement parce que éventuellement ça va venir sur d'autres ministères. Est-ce que c'est un PNQ, le membre de l'opposition a le droit de poser des questions supplémentaires sur ces items-là?
Non, il est
Alors, il
parfaitement...
faudra savoir.
Je peux répondre. Si à chaque fois, Vous allez faire des points of orders. On n'est pas sorti de l'auberge. Mais vous pensez que je ne sais pas?
Non, je sais que
Ah ben alors, faites-moi confiance. Faites-moi confiance. Parce que sinon, moi, je m'en vais. Hein. Qu'est-ce qui se passe encore? Qu'est-ce qui se passe encore? It is perfectly in order. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, because we are late. We are late. If you go, honestly, I'm telling you, if we go on like this, I am going away. Okay? Non, mais c'est pas possible. We're still on Prime Minister's office. Prime Minister, take your time, but give us the... On est à quelle page? On est à page 68, 69, 68, 69. Allez. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I refer to page 68, item 22,900.811, expenses in connection with MNIC unit. There is a substantial increase. Can we be provided with more information, Chair?
Well, I wouldn't say that there's substantial increase. There is an increase, but not substantial. I can give you the details. It's for provision for uniforms, and then there's catering, meal allowances to officers who work very often in the Prime Minister's office, who work after hours, so we have to provide meals. There's an annual payment of syndic fees, and then there's provision for electric charges, telephone, rent, office equipment, furniture, maintenance of building, expenses on, there's a national action plan to combat trafficking in person. That also we have to provide 2 million. Expenses related to counter-terrorism unit and the running cost of the security unit.
Okay. Yes, yes.
May I ask the Prime Minister, at the same page 68, 22,900, decimal 901, running cost of security unit. May I ask how many officers and personnel are posted at the security unit?
910, you mean? You mean 910?
Yeah?
You said 901.
Oh, sorry. 910. Running cost of security unit. If he can provide us with a number of personnel posted there.
I know the page, but what number are you asking?
Let me tell you.
22,900.
910, running cost of security unit, 910. 22,900. It's a more or less middle of the page. Page 68.
I thought I answered that already, that the expenses or you want to know on the security unit?
Yes, I wanted to know the number of personnel that are posted there, officers that are posted there.
Yeah.
Nombre d'officiers là-bas.
Number of officials is 6.
6, okay. Good. Yes, leader. 69, yes.
Yeah. On page 69, item 3121.801,
Vehicles.
acquisition of vehicles. Item B, security division, there's an increase from 35 million to 100 million. Can we know why, Honorable Prime Minister?
These are vehicles for the security division. They had to purchase vehicles for the security division and also to replace an old vehicle.
Okay. Yes. Page 670. 70, yes.
69.
You're still on 69.
Yes. Madam Speaker, may I ask the Prime Minister 31,122, decimal 999, Home Affairs.
Machinery and equipment.
Yes, there's an amount of 15 million, and there's an amount of 15 million that is, for home affairs. May we know what is this amount for?
This is the provision for 2 standby generators which had to be replaced. They're 45 years old.
Good. Section, page 70. Page 71. Yes, 71. 72. Yes. 72.
Yes. On page 72, item 21110.005, extra assistance. Can we be provided with more information, Chair?
Yes, Prime Minister.
This is the provision for the extra assistance for payment of salary and allowances to the new Director of Information Services, the other one who had left, and also a new advisor on information matters.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Honorable Prime Minister mentioned the new director. Can we know who is the new director?
The old one was delving into politics every day. He had to be replaced, and he's been replaced by his, I think he was his deputy, Mr. Ramdan.
Yes.
Yes. For the same
Item.
yes, 73 in fact, 31132 decimal 801.
No, I'm lost.
It's the same item but different page. Yes,
Well, you have to
73.
tell me the page.
73.
73 now we are. Don't just tell me same item.
No, I did say at the
73.
beginning, but anyway, it's
Okay.
31132 decimal 801, acquisition of software mobile app. May we
Voilà,
have
maintenant
more?
je comprends.
Yes, but we can still know what it was for, can't we?
Pourquoi il n'y a pas de budget? Pourquoi il n'y
They're
a pas-
answering for you. I just wanted
Chut.
more details on that.
Pourquoi il n'y a pas de budget, Monsieur le Premier ministre, pour acquisition?
The reason
Acquisition
the
of
reason no
software.
provision has been made because the payment had already been effected in January of this year.
So there's no need for more money.
That's not the question. The question was, what was the project? If we can have details on the project.
Project. This is a software.
Yes, details on the
It
acquisition.
does say it's for software. I can't give you details on software in the Prime Minister's office. We need software.
C'est pas. Qu'est-ce qui se passe là? On va se battre dehors. Page 74. Good, 74, fine. 75, 76, 77, 78, 78, yes. Hein? On arrête là. 77. C'est bon? On arrête là, exprès? Oui. Okay, the question is that the sum of 1,500,000,000 rupees for program code 0201, Prime Minister's Office, and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Pay Research Bureau.
Now PRB. Je dois chercher mon PRB là-dessus. Maintenant. Ok. Ah! Oh là là. C'est mon. Excusez-moi. J'ai une petite douleur. 78. C'est bon, 78? Non. 79? Okay. Pay Research Bureau, question is that the sum of 47 million rupees for program code 0202, pay and conditions of service and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Civil Status Division.
Civil status.
No.
Hein? Pas de question. The question is at the sum of 148 million rupees for program code civil status affairs and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Government Printing.
Yes, the question is that the sum of 227 million rupees for program code 0204, government printing services, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it.
Roadways and Outer Islands.
Maintenant, on a des questions. Yes. Yes. Leader first.
Page 87, item 22,170, traveling within the Republic. Can I ask the Honorable Prime Minister when he intends to travel to Rodrigues?
As
When you
soon
intend.
as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Okay? Yes, Mr. François?
Yes, thank you. I have a few questions, but let me start with item number 26321, decimal 001, Rodrigues Regional Assembly. There was a provision of 1,285 million rupees. Can the Honorable Prime Minister confirm the real expenditure with regards to capital budget?
I'm sorry, tell me the item again. Page 87.
Page 87, item
26.
26321, decimal 001.
Oh, okay. Other general government units.
Yes.
Rodrigues Regional Assembly, small development projects. Okay? Rodrigues Regional Assembly, that's what you want. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, Prime Minister?
I know it's for recurrent expenditure, but I can give you the details. I don't have the details of the recurrent. Is it 23611? Yeah. So, yeah, we approved the capital estimates amounting to 785 million rupees, and then the different projects. You want to name the projects?
Yes? Leader?
Chair, I refer to page 87, item 25110.
Yes?
.011, special Rodrigues holiday package. There is an increase of almost 15 million. Can we be provided with more information as to that increase? Chair, thank you.
Can I know which item?
Yes. That is item, and that is on page 87, item 25110.011. Special Rodrigues holiday package.
Yes. Yes?
That is a provision made to meet the cost of subsidy on airfare for residents of Mauritius traveling to Rodrigues. You know, we said it's in view of boosting the tourism sector there.
Yes, Mr. Duval?
On the same item, may I ask the Prime Minister, for the last financial year, how many Mauritians benefited from that subsidy, that is, travel to Rodrigues?
You should have it. I will not be able to say for last financial year. I can tell you for this year. You mean for the beginning of last year, you were in government?
Not, Prime Minister. First, that's not true. Secondly, you should be able to, because they have the figures here. Because we have the sum here. Otherwise, if you can give me for the 35 million, how many are expected to travel?
The details of last year.
Okay, well, if you can't give me for last year, but I'm sure you can, give me for this year, 35 million.
I can tell you. I've just got it. The amount dispersed, that's what you want to know, yeah?
The number of person travel.
Personal travel? How many people travel?
How many people benefited from that subsidy? It's a subsidy on the etiquette.
Oh, okay. There are 142,000 beneficiaries.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ces enfantillages? Non, mais vous vous ennuyez ou quoi? Allez, ça suffit. On est tous là, en train de travailler, y compris le staff. Il n'y a pas que nous. Hein, il y a aussi le staff. Allons travailler, on est là pour ça. Alors, la question, s'il vous plaît, la question. Oui, vous avez la réponse? Très bien. Mais il y a des... Je vois bien qui c'est, hein. Ce qui n'est arrivé, fini Rodrigue. Monsieur François, pardon.
Yes, thank you, Chair. On page 87, item 22120, fees, decimal 008, fees to consultants. Can we know who are the consultants for both projects by the AFD and for the grants with water sector and renewable energy?
But I don't have the names of the consultants, but maybe they will give me the names.
These are grants. These are grants.
Consultants.
For consultants, yes. You don't have? Yes?
The names of the consultants? Yeah, we don't have the names. We have, it's the Bureau de Recherche Géologique et Minière, but they didn't give the names.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but at least you've got the... Vous avez compris? Très bien. Allez, one more. One more.
Let me put another question, Madam Chair, with regards to same page 87, item 28213, decimal 030, EOL, Airport of Rodrigues Limited. There is a provision of 26 million rupees for this year, but the projection for financial year 2026-2027, there's no money. May I know why?
It's probably not worked out, but we will certainly give details. We haven't, because it's after 1 year you're talking about. I think they haven't worked it out because it's...
Okay, leader?
Yes, thank you, Chair. On the same page, that is page 87, item 28217.010, support to sustainable development in Rodrigues in connection with Rodrigues Airport project. Can we have an indication of the status of that project, Honorable Prime Minister?
They had planned to do the project. I think preliminary works have been done, and we are committed to carry on. As long as you can do it on time, it will be funded. What is the status of how long they have managed to do, I can't say.
Okay. I think we're done with Rodrigues, huh? If everybody's happy. Yes? Let me find Rodrigues. The question is that the sum of 6,470,000,000 rupees for program code 0205 Rodrigues and Outer Islands, and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Reform institutions and rehabilitation.
Page 89, 90, 91. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
May I know? Yes, page 93.
93.
311112.
93? Non, vous avez...
FSL, vous avez dit?
Non, là nous sommes... Chut. Nous sommes dans Reform Institutions. Pourtant, j'ai une très grande voix. J'étais dans Reform Institutions. Je vais poser la question. The question is that the sum of 121 million rupees for program code 0206 rehabilitation of offenders and children in probation institutions, then part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Now we are on forensic.
Forensic Science Laboratory.
FSL. Yes.
So page 93, may I ask the Prime Minister under 31, 1112, decibel 019, construction of the new laboratory. May we know when is the new laboratory expected to be up and running?
Contract date was 29th of November 2023. Now they revised the date to completion 1st of December of this year. This is the yes.
Okay, Mr. François.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Page 92, item number 21110, personal emoluments. I see under key performance indicators, there's about 60% of percentage cases. May I know the exact number of cases treated and resolved?
Will you have that, Prime Minister?
I don't have it here, but I can, how many cases have been resolved? No, I will give it to you. I'm sure they will give it.
Everybody, you must be on your toes there at the back, huh? Moi aussi. Moi aussi, j'ai faim. Dans 10 minutes, on va manger. J'ai faim.
Yeah, sorry, I can give you some more details. For the number of cases, there are in total 3,496 cases, of which 1,960 are for drugs, toxicology 952, and biology 584.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, I put a question. C'est forensic, ça. FSL. The question is that the sum of 650 million rupees for program code 0207, forensic services, and part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. Ayes have it.
National Disaster Risk Reduction. Before la police. La police. Non, il dit before la police.
Non, avant la police. Avant la police.
Ouais. Commence par le first page.
C'est terrible. National Disaster and Risk Reduction. Le problème, c'est qu'on a faim, là, c'est ça. Il n'y a pas de question. Il n'y a pas de question. Allez, on passe. Forensic, on l'a déjà fait. National Disaster Risk Reduction. Question is at the sum of 33 million rupees for program code 0208, National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management. Stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Mauritius Meteorological Services.
Yes, Peter?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Page 99, item number 31112.401, upgrading of office buildings. Can the Honourable Prime Minister provide us with information which buildings are being upgraded?
About the radar station, and then there is the hydrogen generator, then there is the upgrading works at Plaisance station. There's also some waterproof things and all this.
Pas de questions? Yes, c'est bon? Oui, Monsieur François.
Yes, I did read consent. Thank you, Chair. Page 99, item number 31122, decimal 999, acquisition of other machinery and equipment at automatic rain gauge and weather stations and climate database management system, 23 million rupees. And from key performance, there will be an increase of 8 additional automatic station. May I know how many for rigs?
How many specifically for rigs? It's all clumped together here, but I know the Rodix is included, but they put it all together. Yeah, I can't say, but maybe they will tell me.
Okay, yes?
Same question, same item, automatic rain gauge and weather stations. Should I repeat the item?
No, it's okay.
Can the Prime Minister give us the details of this system?
I don't know the details of the system. I know the cost. If you want different costs, I can give you, but not the details, what the system.
Well, it is exactly what it says here. It's a rain gauge.
Yeah, but it's a rain gauge. I don't have to look at the paper. It's a rain gauge.
C'est un truc spécialisé, là. Mesure la pluie, voilà. Google. Ça mesure la pluie. Okay, everybody. Question is at the sum of 163 million rupees for program code 0209, meteorological services and part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
External communications.
Yes. 104. Yes. External communication 104. Where are you?
104.
Yes. Let Mr. Lejonga first.
Thank you.
Yes.
Page 104.
That's okay. Thank you, Chair. May I refer the Honourable Prime Minister to page 104, item 32155.071, shares and equity participation, Airports Holdings Limited. Can we have more information as regard to that item, please?
I can give you a long explanation. There was a loan agreement of 184 million US dollars signed with the World Bank on the 5th of July 2024. That is the previous regime. Signed that to finance the new runway project at Plan Korai. And then there were two components related to the construction of a new airport runway, as we mentioned just now. And then the remaining two components relate to water, food security, and so on.
Yes, Mr. Francois.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On page 104, item 31121.805, acquisition of tugboat funded by government of Japan. There's a provision of 82.5 million rupees. May I know whether this item will cater for the replacement of the old tug at Port Matsumoto Rigs?
I know this is a government of Japan which is extending this grant. We haven't specified where this tug will be used. It could be used at rig as well. I can't see why not.
Yes. Okay. So the external communication. The question is at the sum of 1,107,200,000 rupees for program code 0220, policy and strategy for port and airport division, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. External communications. On a fini. On a fini. Yes, I think we can suspend, if you don't mind, Prime Minister. I think everybody's hungry. Yes? Okay, so I suspend the sitting for until 9? 1 hour? Until 9 o'clock. Okay. On va pas sortir là. C'est lourd. Oups.